Thank click, you click, darling click.
Your click welcome.
Click. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our humble home. I can't find my teeth, so this is the way it is today. Get used to it. We'll be fine. And if it disgusts you, well, obviously that's not my problem. So let's start with a little prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for another day. Thank you that the sun is out today, and although it's negative 50 wind chill, and although it's negative 30 out, we're grateful for the opportunity to experience different things and the power of the weather. And we're grateful for our homes. So grateful, and so grateful for our heat and our blankets and our pillows and how toasty warm we've been all night. And for our hair dryers to warm us up if we aren't perfectly warm. And Heavenly Father, please watch over those people that don't have houses. All the many, many homeless people out there. I'm sure many good deed doers have tried to give them shelter over this time. And bless them that the heat from the grates of the sewer will keep them warm enough, and that they will not be frozen, and that they may have a better life than they have right now. And help us to do our part toward making that happen. Well, thank you so much for the memories that such cold brings back. How common this was. Months, every year it was like this. Thank you so much for the opportunity to experience it again. Who knows if it's the last time we'll ever experience it. But we're grateful for the memories that we have. Help us to be prepared if we go out, to have candles and matches in our car, and blankets and boots and coats and extra mittens and hats and scarves, just in case. And help us to be wise. Help us not to get out of our cars if we get stuck. Bless us with good cell service and keep the power on, please, for everybody, so that everybody can stay warm. And thank you for blessing us with such a reprieve from coldness. And we have been very, very blessed not to have temperatures like this most of the time. And we ask that we will survive this just like we survive everything else that comes along from the weather. And we ask that we will make wonderful memories today, even if it's just stepping outside for a second to breathe it and then come back in, just so we can experience what it's like for a moment. And please protect all the children being driven to places. Bless everybody that they will not have accidents or car trouble or difficulties that will cause them to be in danger of the cold. And please help us to be good people and to make the world a better place. And thank you so much for being there and listening to us. And help us with our troubles. Help us all with the things that are insurmountable in our paths. Help us to be wise. And this we pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. No teeth. Hey, but I found my journal. It's been missing for a few weeks. But I found it under the bed when I was looking to see if maybe my teeth fell off and got under the bed. But no, they're not. They must be. I just haven't looked hard enough yet. But I pulled the bed a couple feet out from the wall. But no teeth. I came out here and the room was really cold. And last night we were gone. We were out for about 4 hours. And we didn't stoke the wood stove before we left. It was a big mistake. We had all the other heaters on, the wall heaters. But it was cold. It was cold. And it's interesting because when it's this cold, negative 50, wind chill or negative 40 wind chill and negative 30 degrees. There's so many familiar. Hi, Susan. So tell me, how is the cold for you? Is it like a familiar old shoe? Like a memory from days gone by? You know, we've lived this kind of weather so many days a year. And now we have one day of it, and it's like, oh, this is terrible. But we always got the same warnings about the severe wind chill and that your skin can freeze in a minute. It brings back a lot of memories, doesn't it? That's what I'm finding. You know, remember days when the car wouldn't start? You have to plug in your car. We have a block heater on the big part of the engine, and I guess electric cars won't. Oh, you read my post on Facebook? Yeah, I was remembering all these things about being cold. You know, I have this parka and I never get rid of it. And it's down to my knees and it has this hood that comes out like a tunnel, like an igloo. And so it comes out to about here. And so then the wind is out here, and unless the wind is straight on, it doesn't get you. And you can put a scarf over it. You remember how it bites your forehead? Or if your head is bare, how it feels like you're burning? Like it really, you know, third degree burn. How easy it penetrates your hair into your scalp. And yet there were always kids that went to school without a hat on. Oh no, it'll mess up my hair. Can you imagine caring more about your hair than about freezing to death? But they haven't experienced the almost freezing to death, so oh well, whatever. Brought back memories of your childhood. Yeah. Well, if we had 12 days a year like this, which is a very low number because we would get at least that much. But as the years went on, it got to be less and less. But January and February were mostly like this. You know, you would have negative 20 and negative 30. And it would stay that way for weeks. And the sun would shine in so brightly, and you could almost let the wood stove go out because the sun heated up the house so much. So it was always clear. You know, if it was cloudy, it would trap the warmth to the earth, and so the clouds are coming back in again. It's cloudy today. So, or at least it looks cloudy, but the sun is out on the field a bit. But anyway, I remember when we were farmers in southern Ontario with my ex-husband, we would go visit his parents. That was a frequent thing we would do in the evenings or on weekends. We would often go to the grandparents' house, and we'd sit around and discuss the price of corn and the price of pigs. And how bad a job the government was doing with crop insurance, or whatever, the importance of having crop insurance. And of the drafts coming through the barn, the walls of the barn, that, you know, you'd get ice on the rocks on the inside of the barn. And you'd have to point them up in the summer. You know, that would be taking some cement and pushing it into the cracks between all the rocks. Because the barns were rock on the bottom, stone put together. And then the main barn was the big, huge 12 by 12 beams, square beams, and they would connect together with big parts, you know, point and a pin, big wooden pins and wooden pointy shapes on the ends of the logs that would fit into the other ones, and really well made barns. And the sound of the barn door closing, there was this metal piece against the ground. And as you'd push it closed, it'd make that scraping sound on the cement there. And in order to load our pigs into the truck, instead of backing up to the barn and then backing in straight and then having, I guess it was up a hill, well, whatever. Instead of backing in and then having the pigs go up a ramp, I think it might have been my idea. It was crazy enough that it would have been, but we dug out a big trench so that the backing up to the barn, the back of the truck was at the same level as the cement of the barn. And so when you had to get the pigs out, if you could get a board behind them and push them ahead, but they would stick their noses down the bottom of the board and push the board up, and you with it sometimes. So you really had to support the bottom of the board as you tried to get them out. And if the pig wanted to go the other way, you were up the creek without a paddle. There was almost nothing you could do about it till we had pig prods and you could zap them, and then they would go squealing off into the truck to the bed. But you know, you wouldn't just have a cold nose and cold cheeks and chin. It would bite so hard. It was like a dog was attacking you. It was so the bite. And the frame of your glasses would freeze. Your glasses would be this ice cold thing. Oh, and the men out there blowing snow with the snow blower behind the tractor, their beards would just be covered in snow. And they'd have icicles from their nose hairs. It was really cold. And you'd feel like your nose was all clogged up. As soon as you went outside and breathed in, all the moisture in your nose would turn to ice. You had a clogged nose of ice until you exhaled. And then it was all fine again. But any exposed skin, you really had to watch children for frostbite. I always marveled, like going skating on the canal in Ottawa. It was always -10 during Winterlude. Well, -10 is nothing compared to -30. It's interesting because I don't know where all the drafts are, but now I can see them because there's ice on the insides. Or you see this bit right here? Let me turn this around. See that bit right there? Well, it's because this door is not square anymore, or it's square, but it's hi. You really think you want to go outside, don't you? You really think so? Well, I'm not going to give you that opportunity, even though your kitty friend is out there somewhere. I must have dug a deep hole under the deck in the sand under there. It took a long time to warm up the house yesterday when we got home. We're only gone for 4 hours and we had all these heaters on, but the wood stove really pumps out a lot of heat. It doesn't look so huge. It's probably not big enough for the size of our house now. We need another one in the back room. But the back room, we have the electric heater on back there, and it's nice and toasty warm. But I remember on the farm, we only heated the room that had the wood stove in, and we had curtains draped so that the rest of the house, the cold from the rest of the house didn't get us. Oh, and of course the plumbing would freeze solid. And so we would turn off the upstairs plumbing, and we would have to take we'd take a bucket of water. We'd fill a bucket with hot water. We'd carry it up the stairs with us. And then you'd have to dump it in the toilet. You dump half in the toilet before you went to thaw it. And then you dump the other half in after you were done to flush it. But it never left much in the bowl. If you flushed it with a bucket of water, it would empty everything, but then no water would come back into it because the tank has a different process. And so there would be no little amount of pool water there. It was really awful. And of course the seat was frozen solid when you'd go up there to use it. And then we had children, We had to heat the upstairs, so we got a space heater going in the living room. It was like an oil space heater. It was a big old clunker. It stood out in the middle of the living room. It was like, it was no regular living room. You know, I have found that this cat likes to be held tightly. The children used to hug him, drag him around the house when he was little, and they just hug him so tightly. You like that, don't you? But not for that long. After a while, he doesn't like it anymore. But he just melts into it. What's the matter? What did you hear? What did you say about knitting? How come you don't knit anymore, Nancy? Well, I guess because I knitted all the socks I could possibly ever use. I should knit new bottoms. What if I put fleece in the bottom of the socks and felt them? Or thrum them? You know what thrumming is, where you reach a crochet hook through the knitted surface and you hook a bit of fleece and you pull it through. And you want that on the inside to be fluffy and warm. My socks are so big now I could do that with them. You want to have just short pieces of fleece. I should clean that door of the wood stove, you know? You're supposed to do it when it's cool, but it works just as well if it's hot. You just spray vinegar on the inside of the door, and it takes off the stuff so you can't see the door anymore. See the fire. We had a wood stove that my dad made from a barrel and no heat upstairs where we slept. Yeah, these are interesting memories, aren't they? You know, if you thrum a pair of socks on the outside, then they would felt down and become a pad that would keep you, you know. Yeah, maybe I should do that. But it's usually not that cold. You know, it's cold enough that my foot is hurting from the cold, and yet it's not really that cold here. But see this little gap here? See, that's all coming in there. I think there's a way to redo the door so that doesn't happen, but I'm not sure what it is. Oh, and you know how windows get frozen shut, so you can't open the windows when it's like this. My nose is running. So go catch it. You know what I've been saving toilet paper rolls. Look at this. Look at all of them. I had to dress for school under my covers. Oh yeah, I remember that. But you know, and of course the first thing I would do every morning was turn on the oven and warm the kitchen while I made muffins. I used to make muffins, and look at this is the last of the cookies that I made with Maya the other day. You can read that, eh?
Mm-hmm. Sort of. It's very difficult sometimes to make it out, but anyway.
What does it say?
Received. On 8th May has been buried the newborn child, I think it is, of Weigerwieten on the churchyard. I'm not sure what that means, what that word means. Legaste, geld betaald. So they have paid 040, whatever. That's the amount of money.
Huh. What year is this?
1706.
Huh. Genealogy, I am doing it. My genealogy. And the reason why I am doing it is very dear to me. I will keep a book of remembrance, my family history. I'm theirs and they are mine, my family. So now we're supposed to go out there and prune the trees. Who wants to go out there in February? But if that's the rule everywhere, even if you're not in Canada, then it probably doesn't have to be this cold. Righto? Genealogy, I am doing it. Genealogy. And the reason why I am doing it is very dear to me. I will keep my book of remembrance. Do you think we should call and make sure she can get her car started?
Sure.
Do you want to do that? And
Yeah.
I'll go upstairs.
La, 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 la.
The car never starts. Well, it does start sometimes. I remember when we got a Toyota, it was like such a relief. It would start without having to turn on to plug in a block heater. Oops, the children they decorated the room. Heat Wave Party, starring DJ Torchic. Oh, the little people. No, tomorrow it's not going to be too cold. Last week church was canceled because of snow. All is well? Yeah, I guess it's all as well. Everything's okay?
Yeah, everything is good. She's about to leave.
Okay. Let's do our face routine. See if we can be done with all these dastardly wrinkles. But putting you somewhere is the hardest thing. I should bring that thing up all the time. There. Now, we'll start again. Supposed to do this. Micro needling. It's just my cheeks, that I have all these little fine lines. Make me look like I'm 130. I mean, I don't care what I look like mostly. I don't have to see it. But short of gaining all the weight back, you gain all the weight back, then your face will stretch. I was watching somebody that was she had this little tape, and she would tape the back of her stuff there and tape it like this. And by the time she was done getting herself ready, she did not look like herself at all. She looked like somebody totally younger, like somebody like 20. Unbelievable. I'm not really interested in all that. But I just want my face to look healthy. It just looks so unhealthy and whatever. had this little paddle thing to apply the mask stuff with, and I don't see it now. It's not in here where it belongs. You know, I always have to have it lighter inside than it is outside. It's not the fact that you can't see because it's not light enough. It's because if you look outside and then inside, the difference is gives me a headache. That's why I've always done it. All right, enough of that. You're supposed to use this twice a week. Was it twice a week for a month? And then once a month for a year? I don't remember exactly. Okay, and then this stuff goes on next. It's called Plus Vous Pray by Dr. Lucetti, MD. And this is the Perfecting Facial Serum. I have not, was going to do it twice last week, but I didn't. Then you're supposed to wait for this dries. Okay, so we'll wait for a few minutes now till it dries. Can't even see it. You do put up moisturizing cream. Do you put up moisturizing cream on your face every morning? Every day? No. I am trying to put cream on my face now every day. but I forget. Well, but I'm trying to make these little lines that are all over my face smooth out. Your skin loses its collagen, I guess. And whatever. I'm just seeing if it'll work. I mean, it's another project, right? It's another experiment. Some people live by this stuff. I mean, not me. To me, it's totally luxury and not necessary at all. It's about as far from chop wood and carry water as you can get, right? Well, I want to go outside just because I want to experience this cold, because otherwise I never do get to experience it. It's colder than the freezer in the house. Do you remember the ice storm? Well, now, Susan, tell me about this. How often did you have these negative 30-degree temperatures in Wisconsin? And the wind chill is negative 40, so it's been Fahrenheit and Celsius meet, but it's too cold to kiss. They could just snuggle in their parkas. So I'm gonna look outside. It's the only place everything is in order. So this big white mound in the front is the roof. It's too cold to snowshoe, absolutely. It's too cold to go for a walk, absolutely. It's pretty cold, the car might not start. It's pretty dangerous out there, because on the roads the salt no longer melts the snow. Like, it only melts the ice and makes it into water, and therefore slush, until negative 18 Celsius, which is 0 Fahrenheit. And after that, you've got icy patches. Wherever it did thaw before has now spread out in its ice. Let me see, I gotta put my glasses back on to see what you said. It's usually just a few times a year. Is that like now or what it was like years ago? Because for us, I think it was a few weeks of a year. What did you say? A few times a year. Yeah, it was for a few weeks. The year I married Willem in 1987, it was negative 30 in Ottawa. Ottawa was the coldest capital, is the coldest capital in the world. It's colder than the capital of Russia, but it's not the coldest place in the world. It's just the coldest capital. It was much more many times when I was younger. Yeah, did you have to go to school when it was this cold? Like, sometimes the buses were canceled because of extreme cold, but they wouldn't keep the buses, for 2 weeks at a time. They wouldn't do that. They would just soldier on. They would just start the buses early and let them heat up for a long time. It's nothing to leave your car idling for half an hour or something to warm it up enough that you can go, you know. And if you have a long walk to the car, there's no dashing in and out and in. You can't just dash out and run around the house without your coat on and get back in. You're lucky to get out there, stand there for 2 seconds, and then you got to go back in. When for the outside of the search for the fountain of youth. I'm not interested in being young or looking young. I just don't want to look like I'm a shriveled up piece of crepe paper, you know? It just looks like I don't wash my face, or I don't, You know, I just look so, I don't know. But I am a person that hangs out outside all the time, and so I would have a weathered face, so it's normal. But without my teeth, see, it's even worse. It's almost hopeless, don't you think? Like, why would you? But this girl, she uses tape, which pulled her cheeks up like that. And then she had some more up here or something. I was really interested. My forehead's all right. We had school no matter what as a child. That's right. How many times have I heard it said, we're Canadians? We're Canadians. What are you complaining about? In Russia, they have a time at school where the kids strip down to their underwear, run around, run outside, roll in the snow, and run back inside. Really? It makes them tough. Russians are tough. Let's not go there. I wonder what tape would do. Wouldn't that be interesting to put some tape on and see? Wouldn't that be funny if I completely changed my appearance so that when the children arrived, they would say, "What happened to you, Grandma? What happened to your face?" All right, I have some tape here. Let's play. Well, wait a minute. I have to do this whole face thing first. Probably it's dry enough. I should probably wash it off now. Let's go do that. I can do difficult things. It always looks worse without your teeth. Everybody needs teeth. But then you get to my age and all the people are now talking about their teeth are falling out. You know, they gotta get these, have to get a partial or they have to get a dentures. And I've been there, done that. Okay, let's go do this next part. So that little paddle is gone. Darn, the kids must have found it. Have to be so careful. Everything is at risk. Okay, now we do the next part of this thing. I'll put this one on. They had forgotten to, well, they had given me this package that had been opened. There were fingerprints everywhere. See, I'm using just the tiniest amounts. There were dirty fingerprints all over the side of the box. And there was this corrective, that tube thing, that was missing. So I contacted them in Hawaii and they sent me an entire replacement box. So I have everything double except that one little thing. So I gotta make this stuff last for many years. Now I have to put this stuff under my eyes. This one is called Stem Talks. gonna put the tiniest amount of this on my finger. Like that. That's gonna be more than I need. And this is supposed to shrink the bags. There we go. Who knows? I think it's all just a gimmick, but. And then we use this thing called red. With this thing on it, and then we just go over everything, making little circles everywhere. Circles everywhere, circles everywhere. It doesn't seem to want to slide around on my face. I think I'll put this on the, it's got this protective cap over the thing, so I'm going to put this on there. And it lights up when it touches you. See?
Yeah. Sure. It's hi. Yeah, pretty steep.
Okay, hold
Pretty
on a minute.
difficult.
Hold
Yeah.
on a minute. Where do I mute this?
Okay. Well, yeah, there's some. Yeah, sure. I can give you a copy.
sorry about that. Mayor Jane phoned. She left her sweater somewhere. What does it say? What have you guys been saying? I wouldn't put tape on my face, lol. You're 60 years old and Willem still loves you. Yep, he's 73. I've almost completely cut myself off of sugar. This is a difficult task for me. You know, you got to call yourself day one. And then day two, you don't want to go back through what you went through on day one to not have any. I have to cut back on all kinds of things. I've been gaining weight, I think, but I didn't gain 20 pounds. I only gained 15, which is good. All right, that should be enough of that. Okay. Now, any difference? I'm going to try this tape because the children are coming and I think it would be fun to have Grandma look different. Just take little tiny pieces of tape and see if it works. And I don't do this to get love. You know, like, of course Willem loves me. This just doesn't matter. This is just a joke. Now, does it work? See this piece here? What if I could get that to go away? See, it pulls on my skin in there, though. It doesn't work anyway. You'd have to use a really long piece of tape, but I don't think that would look very good. I mean, who do I care about? What do I care about looks? I can't find my teeth. There. Okay, so we got one on there. We'll do it on here. All right, how does that look? Does that change everything? They're not as deep. I think that's kind of interesting. Okay, we'll take it off. We'll see the difference. No difference. No difference at all. Okay, tape isn't going to do it. Yep, no difference. I just want it to be healthy. You know, like, why do you wash your face at night? You know? Just so that your face is healthy and you look good. Or it looks good. I don't see anybody else, so who cares what I look like to other people? But I just thought it was so amazing that it could change it. It never was like this before. It's just happened in the last year or two. The last year has really changed all my face. I've never been old before. Everything pulls on everything else, right? So if you're going to put tape on, you're going to have to put 3 pieces here. And then you have to put one here, too. If you're going to do it on this side, you have to do the same thing. I'm using you for a mirror. Okay, well, it's done. Done. I have to put everything away so children don't find it all and decide to play with it. That would be disastrous. Absolutely disastrous. But they can find anything, you know. Okay, put all these things back. I've only ever used soap on my face. Yeah, I only ever used I didn't even use soap. I would just mostly wash it with a wet cloth. Back when I was in my 30s selling Mary Kay. Yeah, it's interesting. How old are you, Tyler? Your point of view of aging is an interesting one. I have this thing on which no longer matches anything. Because I'm wearing blue-green. This is teal, right? You're 56. Oh my. 56, you're up there. I thought you were in your 20s or 30s. So you've got the beginnings of the aging stuff happening, don't you? Oh my, they're here. Okay, I gotta go. Bye.